So what's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Tater Time. It is your favorite host, Vast. I'm currently not using my webcam, as in I'm in the market to replace it. However, I wanted to make sure that I got some of these ideas for this video out while the ideas were fresh. So I'll be playing something in the background, maybe some gameplay of just whatever. Hopefully something at least sort of relevant to the conversation. So, as some of you may know, Valve has been in the gaming news a lot lately because of an issue with gambling that's going on within the community, and whether or not it's ethical and if it should be regulated similar to real life gambling. So to kind of run through and explain this really quickly, there's a video game out there called Counter-Strike Global Offensive. It's a very popular first-person shooter, and within this game, there are these things called cases, and you can think of them sort of like a booster pack of collectible cards that you can buy, like Pokemon cards or Magic the Gathering cards, which is actually a topic I'm going to get back to later. So within this game, you obtain cases that are randomly dropped through playing the game. In order to open these cases, you have to purchase a key from the Steam store. So you purchase a key, you open this case, and you have a chance at winning a gun skin, essentially something that makes your weapons look cooler. And this can range from something that looks very simple to something that looks very complex, but the big thing behind it is that these items actually have value. Whenever I say value, I want to make sure that I emphasize the fact that the value is simply Steam currency. Its intended use was not to make them worth any real money per se, but to be worth basically like a gift card to Steam so that you can spend on other games. So you get a skin, you don't want it, you can sell it on the Steam market, you put it up for a price that makes sense for the market. The market basically dictates the price by what people are willing to spend for how rare something is. And that's essentially how that works. So that's been going on for a long time. No big deal. They did something similar with Team Fortress 2. Overwatch is doing something similar now. League of Legends. Pretty much every mobile game has something similar to this. And, of course, booster packs in real life for collectible card games as well. Like I said before, for Pokemon and Magic the Gathering being the more popular ones. Where the problem comes into play is that people have taken this system and essentially made gambling sites that are third-party websites where you take the skins that you own, you put them into a pot, you put them into a pot with a bunch of other players who are also betting, and depending on the value of what you've bet, it will increase the chances of you winning. So essentially just straight up gambling, right? Because every one of these items has a dollar value according to the Steam market price. But initially, this could only be used on Steam. You couldn't actually cash this out. There has since been third-party websites that have allowed you to trade these skins for real money, and I think that's kind of where the real problem of this whole story comes into play. So, essentially, something really big that's happening off this is that there is a company out there called Project Syndicate. It's a bunch of people, a bunch of big YouTubers that have been streaming Counter-Strike Go for quite a long time. They have a very large following, and they posted a video one day of them saying, oh, hey, look, we found this new betting website. It's csgolotto.com, something like that, and watch me win all this money. So they make many videos where they're making big gains and wins on this gambling website. The problem that happens with that is that it's later revealed down the road that these people making these websites of them winning are actually the owners of this company. They're owners of the CSGO Lotto. And to kind of put that into perspective why that's a problem, whenever you walk into a casino, you don't want to see the owner of the casino winning big at the table. It's going to throw up some red flags for you because it's like, well, the owner has complete control over the odds of him winning. So whether he wins or not, or whether it's cheated or not, doesn't really matter because that idea is going to be in the back of your head and perception is reality, right? So now we have this person that's filing a lawsuit against Valve saying that they're responsible for this gambling issue, and now they have children on these gambling sites. And since it's with digital goods and not real currency, I put air quotes around that. So there's not any like legal regulation or anything like that, like there would be with normal gambling. Anyone, any age, can participate in these websites and gamble away their money. These parents caught on and said, "Oh, you're essentially participating in gambling. We're going to go after Valve and sue them for this." Here is one of the big problems that I have with people blaming Valve whatsoever on this. The initial software that they developed did not enable for this kind of activity to happen. And even if they did, in my opinion, it's no different than all of these systems that have already been in place. The biggest problem that I have with them being sued is that I believe it's going to set a precedence for both digital and physical goods in the future. This means that all of your card games out there, both physical and digital, and as well as all of your games like Hearthstone and so on, anything that says, spend this much money, have a chance of getting something rare out of it that you're going to like. As a child, I struggled to see the real difference here between letting kids buy Pokemon cards or Magic the Gathering cards and doing something like this. Essentially, I mean, whenever you're a kid, right, you spend a certain amount of money, you get a booster pack, it has unknown cards in it, and you're looking for the ones that are really good. And those cards will have a value to them according to how rare they are. You can then turn around and take those cards and sell them for real life money. So you're essentially gambling right there. It's basically like playing a scratch-off card or any sort of lotto, anything like that at all, any sort of gambling. So essentially, children have been allowed to gamble, in a sense, for a very, very long time, and it's just now coming up into the limelight. Also, people are saying, "Oh my gosh, why are you allowing these kids to gamble?" Well, my question is where are these kids getting the money to fuel this gambling habit that they have? If they're spending their parents' money, then that is a problem on the behalf of the parents. They should be within well knowing on how much money their kids are spending and what they're spending it on, and if they don't, I feel like that's a problem of the parents and not a problem of the software. Valve is not responsible for how much your children spend. This kind of thing also goes into mobile apps and things like that, where people have complained in the past that their children shouldn't be able to purchase in-game content in apps with microtransactions. But the thing is that these kids don't have credit cards, so they can't physically participate in these sort of things because they have no means of interacting with the market. There is an age limit on how that works. They don't have a bank account, they don't have a job, so they don't have the means to interact within this market. The only way that they can interact is if their parents enable them to do so. So I say right here, right now, Valve has no responsibility on how kids are participating in this market. First of all, the game is rated mature, so that's one thing right there. You shouldn't have underage kids playing it anyway if you don't want them to. And then, of course, Valve is not directly hosting these gambling sites in any way. Sure, they might have provided them the API and software to be able to run them, but they themselves are not participating in it. You're always going to have scammers and things like there like that. Maybe some regulation behind that can be in place, but I even think that the government should be hands off from this entirely, to be honest, just because the precedent it's going to set. I have personally never been an avid Counter-Strike Go player. Like I've definitely played the game. I've definitely used the gambling websites, and it was a lot of fun, and I didn't see a problem with it. It worked great, and it was a lot of fun. I was just gambling some digital goods for better digital goods. It was fun. I enjoyed myself. So I don't think that there's any issue with that happening. This does kind of open the door for some weird things to happen. Like, I know that there was something in the news about a Counter-Strike tournament that was going on, and a team was offered a great deal of money and skins to throw the game. And things like that are definitely bad for the esports scene. I definitely don't want to see things like that, and we should have some sort of regulation to keep that from happening. However, I think that the personal gambling should definitely be allowed. I don't see any problem with this whatsoever. It's pretty easy for consumers, just like you have the Better Business Bureau. It's really easy for consumers to go and look at these companies and say, "Hey, do I want to participate with this company? They have bad ratings. Okay, they're likely to scam me, so no." People who have good ratings, so on and so forth. That's the way businesses work in the real world. That's how it should work in the digital world. So yeah, Valve's not at fault. Parents are at fault for supplying money for these kids' gambling addictions, as well as allowing their kids to participate in the game that's rated mature anyway. So parents need to pay better attention to what their kids are doing. I don't want to have a future where we don't have Pokemon cards or booster packs or anything like that. Now, I don't like microtransactions and apps and things in games such as apps that appear on mobile phones, just because I think they're toxic as hell and they basically force you to pay to win, and I don't like pay to win. But Counter-Strike skins were nothing like that. It was simply aesthetic, and I think that that's completely called for, and that's just fine. Aesthetics in games, you pay extra for them, sure. Why not? It's voluntary. It does not take away from your experience of the game. It is purely for personal customization, and I think that's just fine. Anyways, guys, I mean, that's pretty much my entire... Oh, wait. So going back to the whole team syndicate thing and how they're being super shady. Now, I do absolutely think that everything they did was entirely, like, fucked up, for lack of a better word. I mean, showing off your website and not owning up to actually telling everyone that you're an owner whenever you have millions of viewers like you do, that is very shady and very manipulative. You're essentially telling people that you found this diamond in the rough and you've been winning really good at this website, and everyone else should go and try too, even though you didn't set forth the information to begin with that you're the actual owner of that company, and now you're profiting off of other people using it. So that's definitely messed up, and that needs to be addressed. And I think there is some legal issue there with the owners of the company gambling on their own gambling website, essentially. That's all the ideas that I had for that. I know it might not be a whole lot different than what other people had out there, but I felt like it was lacking the physical and digital comparisons where we have been exposed to this type of thing for a very long time with collectible card games, and we've been just fine with it. But now that it's come to digital goods and the sort of money is getting bigger because the game's more popular, I mean, it shouldn't be a problem, honestly. This should be a personal regulation thing. Each person has the ability to control how they spend their money, and if they don't, they have, just like for everything else, they have, groups that you can go to. So I don't think that it's an issue for the majority of the population. Be better parents. Watch where your kids are spending hundreds of your dollars at. Pay more attention to what they're doing. Easy solution, really. But that's it for this time, guys. I've got more videos coming out soon. Even though my webcam is broken at the moment, I do have some stuff that's in my archives that I'm going to continue to edit and put those videos out. So hopefully I'll have those out here pretty soon. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Огонь по готовности!